Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jag, and in today's class, we are going to continue with our grade 10 math content. Alright, and this is the method of elimination part 2. So again, I see that some students are having some trouble with the process of elimination, and we have to make sure we are able to do a lot of these simple questions. And the reason for that is afterwards, if you're going through in the textbook, the teacher is going to start to go through some more complicated questions. Okay, and at that point, I don't want to be lost. Okay, I want to make sure I understand the concepts very well and I'm able to do each of these questions. All right, so with that, let's try a simple example first. Okay, I have this question written down on the board. Okay, and it's similar to one of the questions we did in the previous video. So I'm looking at my two equations here. So I have 3x plus y equals 13. And the second equation is 2x plus 3y equals to 18, okay? And I always number the equations as 1 and 2, so you can always refer back to them, okay? Now if I'm looking at the two equations, I can see neither of the variables x or y is being cancelled out here, okay? If I just add and subtract the equations. So what I'm going to do here is I want to keep this second equation the same, okay? I'm going to take the first equation and multiply it by 3. Alright? And again, you're probably wondering, like, Jag, why are you doing that? Okay, and I'm going to show you in just a second here. On the bottom, we're going to rewrite the first equation. I have to multiply everything by 3. Okay, so this is going to become 3x times 3. Okay, 9x. Okay, I'm doing y times 3, so 3y, so plus here, okay, so plus 3y equals 13 times 3, okay, which is equal to 39. So this is my new equation for the first one, and I said that for the second equation, we are just going to keep it the same, okay, so I'm just going to copy down this equation here, okay, so it's 2x plus 3y, okay, equals 18. Okay, and I'm going to make the equal sign one more time, okay? So you can see how neat this is, okay? The teacher can follow along exactly in terms of which steps you are doing, and he or she can see if you go wrong, okay, at any of the steps here. But again, part marks will always be given, okay? Alright, so now I have my two equations, and you notice the reason I did this, okay? So again, elimination is I want to eliminate either the x variable or the y variable. If I look at my two equations here, I notice I have 3y and 3y, okay? And again, some students were asking about, how do I know if I'm adding or subtracting the two equations? So if you look here, okay, both of the equations have 3y, and they both are positive 3y, okay? So when the signs are the same, you're going to subtract the two equations, because this is basically like 3 minus 3, which is equal to 0, okay? Does everyone see that? Okay, so this cancels out when I'm subtracting it, okay? And over here, for the x, I'm doing 9 minus 2, which is 7x. Okay? On the other side, we're going to do 39 minus 18, alright? Which is 21. Everyone sees that? And again, okay, I can see that this is like a whole number for x and y. Okay, that doesn't have to be the case, okay? The teacher can give you harder questions where there will be fractions, okay? So make sure you understand these concepts really well and you're able to do it with these whole numbers, okay? So now I have x here. So I'm going to just divide it by 7 on both sides, okay? And I can see, that's right on the side here, okay, that my x value is equal to 3, okay? And again, the reason I am dividing it by 7 is so that the 7 value just cancels out like this. So again, we are not done here, okay? I'm going to take my value for x, okay? And we can sub it back into either of the equations. And again, it has to be the original equations that we started with at the very top, okay? So I'm going to put sub into equation 1, because equation 1 looks kind of more simple here. Okay, so 3x plus y equals 13, okay? And again, I should make sure that I write the original equation, okay, before I sub it in. Teachers don't want to see some work all over the place. They're not going to follow along and look for where your final answer is, okay? They'll just take off a mark right away because they don't want to waste their time. All right, so I'm rewriting this equation, and that's why I always write which equation I'm subbing my x value into, okay? I just write sub into equation 1, so the teacher knows now that I'm plugging it in here. So 3 times 3 plus y equals 13, okay? And again, if you're really good at these equations, you could just skip a couple of these steps, okay? So this is just to show you here, okay? So I have 3 times 3, 9, plus y equals 13, all right? You're going to take this 9 over to the other side, and I'm going to subtract it. Okay, so we can see that on the other side is going to be 13 minus 9, which is equal to 4. I'm going to box my x and y values here, okay? And again, the final answer should be a therefore statement, like the point of intersection. Okay, and I'm going to write the x value is 3, and the y value is equal to 4. Okay, so does everyone see how to do that? And that's your final answer, okay? And again, when you do get your final answer, I have to make sure I'm checking my answer, okay? This is the x and y value. I have to plug it back into the original equations, all right? And both sides have to be equal, and it has to satisfy both equations, all right? And if it doesn't, if it satisfies one equation and it doesn't satisfy the other, that doesn't mean it's partially right or something like that. It's just wrong, okay? So make sure you go back and check your answers one more time, okay? Alright, so basically this was where I was changing just like one of the equations, and I was keeping the other equation the same, okay? So let's try one more example, okay? I'm going to take this off. Alright, in this example it's going to be slightly different, okay? And the difference is going to be that I have to multiply both of the equations, okay, by a number to try and cancel out the x or y variable, alright? So let's try this one. Okay, so it's 3x minus 2y equals to 5, alright? And I have 2x plus 3y is equal to 12, okay? So again, make your equal sign like this. Okay, I labeled both of my equations, alright? And what you're going to do now is, if you look at the two equations, I notice, again, the x or the y variable do not cancel out, okay? If you look very closely, okay, I notice I can't even multiply just one of the equations, okay, to make the variable cancel out. So I have to take, so let's try to eliminate the x, okay? So you're going to take this whole equation, let's put it in brackets, okay? So I'm going to times it by 2. So you see how this is 3x and 2x? You're kind of just multiplying them by each other, okay? I'm going to take the second equation and times it by 3. So just like this, alright? So we're going to rewrite it on the bottom. Okay, the first equation, multiply everything by 2. So I'm doing 3x times 2, 6x. Okay, negative 2 times 2, so negative 4y. Okay, and lastly 5 times 2 here, which is equal to 10. Is everyone with us so far? So we are just multiplying the first equation by 2. Okay, we're going to go to the second equation. And this time we're going to multiply the second equation by 3. Okay, so 2 times 3, 6x here. Okay, I'm going to do 3 times 3, which is 9. So I'm going to put plus 9y. Okay, 12 times 3, okay, which is 36. Okay, so I hope everyone is with me so far, okay? And if you are just looking here, we are going to subtract the two equations. And again, why are we subtracting the two equations? Because I want to cancel out the x variable, okay? And I see the 6x and 6x, they both are positive. So the only way I can cancel it out is if you do 6 minus 6, okay? So we're going to subtract the two equations, alright? Now if you look at the y, everyone should be looking very carefully. This is going to be negative 4 minus 9, okay? So this is going to be negative 13y, okay? And it's going to be equal to 26. So you're doing 10 minus 36, sorry, so negative 26. Make sure you are watching the signs, okay? So when you're subtracting here, okay, this is negative 26. This is actually negative 4 minus 9. So it's kind of like we have to make sure we're looking at our integers, taking the sign in front of the number, okay? And I'm adding these two together, okay? So we're going to divide it by negative 13, okay, on both sides. Okay, negative 13 is going to cancel out. And you notice this time we are solving for y here. So I'm going to write it here. So y is equal to 2. Box your answer at the end so the teacher can see it. Okay, again, I'm going to take my y value this time. I'm going to sub it into equation 1. Okay, so I always sub it into equation 1. You can always just check which equation looks like it's more simple without like all these negative signs and stuff, and plug it into that equation, okay? Just so it's a little bit easier. So my y value is equal to 2. Okay, so I'm just going to rewrite this equation. 3x minus 2y equals 5. Alright, I'm taking y equals 2, and we're going to plug it in here. So 3x minus 2 times 2 equals to 5. Alright, so this is a good example with whole numbers, okay, just so we understand the concept. So 2 times 2 is 4, so it's actually negative 4 here, okay. I'm going to take this to the other side. It's going to be positive 4, alright. So I'm left with 3x equals 5 plus 4, 9, alright. Again, what should I divide by on both sides? It's a simple equation. Whatever number is in front of the variable here, in front of x, is 3. I'm going to divide it by 3 on both sides. So I can see that the 3 cancels out, okay? And x is equal to 3. Again, I want to write that as a point of intersection. So I'm going to put, therefore, the POI, okay, is going to be 3 and 2. Now say the questions does not say basically check your answer. Okay, that doesn't mean I shouldn't be checking my answer. Okay guys, I have my point of intersection as my final answer. The x value is 3, the y value is 2. I'm taking the x and y values, and I can even do a mental check in my head. I don't need to actually write it out, okay? If you can't do that mentally, I would make sure I'm doing the check and writing it out. Especially on like a unit test or like a quiz, I don't want to get the wrong answer. And the thing is, within this unit, you can't get any of these questions wrong as long as you're checking all of your answers, okay? Plug in the point of intersection into, again, both of these original equations. Both sides of the equation should be equal, all right? So again, this video covered the process of elimination part 2. Okay, we tried to go through some more harder questions that you will see as you are progressing through the unit. And the section after this goes through some application questions where you are using substitution or elimination. Whenever you do any of these word problems, it is easier to do elimination. As you can see, what we covered in the video today, one of the variables will always cancel out and I can get the answer right away. Okay, I don't need to do the substitution for the word problems. All right. So that brings this video to an end. Thank you for watching. And if you like the content, please make sure you're subscribing to the channel and click on the like button below. And I will see everyone next time. Thanks. Bye.